The council chamber was quiet. Too quiet. Ambassador Hyun-ki stood at the center of the circular room, surrounded by representatives from 47 different species. He could feel their eyes on him. Some looked away when he tried to meet their gaze. Others stared back with cold determination. He had known this day would come. The signs had been there for months. Whispered conversations that stopped when humans entered a room. Proposals that humans supported being quietly shelved. Trade agreements that suddenly needed more review time. The galaxy was turning against Earth, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. Counselor Vexral rose from his seat. The reptilian diplomat's scales caught the light as he moved, creating patterns of green and gold. He was tall, imposing, and he knew how to work a crowd. His voice carried across the chamber without effort. Members of the council, Vexral began, we gather today to address a threat to our collective peace. The humans have been among us for 50 years. In that time, they have grown too powerful, too aggressive, too dangerous. Hyun-ki kept his face neutral. He had heard these accusations before. They were lies, but lies repeated often enough started to sound like truth. Look at their military buildup, Vexral continued, bringing up holographic displays, 40 new warships in the last decade. Advanced weapon systems, defensive installations across 3 sectors. They claim it is for protection. But protection from what? From us? The murmurs began. Hyun-ki could see fear spreading across the chamber like ripples in water. Fear was Vexral's greatest weapon, and he wielded it expertly. Ambassador Hyun-ki, Counselor Thelmar said softly, the bird-like Orinthi had always been friendly to Earth. Perhaps you could address these concerns. Hyun-ki stepped forward. He was an old man now, his hair silver, his face lined with years of diplomatic service. He had spent 30 years building relationships with these species. 30 years of patient work, about to be destroyed in a single afternoon. Council members, he said quietly, everything Counselor Vexral has shown you is true. We have built ships. We have developed weapons. We have established defensive positions, but he has not told you why. He brought up his own displays. Star charts, patrol routes, incident reports. 3 years ago, pirates attacked the Vestali trading hub. Human ships responded. We lost 2 vessels and 43 crew members protecting Vestali merchants. 2 years ago, raiders hit the Orinthi medical station. We drove them off. Last year, smugglers tried to establish a base in the frontier zone. We removed them. He paused, looking around the chamber. Every ship we have built has been used to protect Council space. Every weapon we have developed has defended Council citizens. Every installation we have established has secured Council trade routes. We have shed blood for this Council. Human blood. The chamber was silent again, but it was a different kind of silence now. Uncomfortable, guilty. Vexral's voice cut through it. The ambassador speaks of protection. But who asked for this protection? Who authorized humans to build a military force within Council space? They act without permission, without oversight. Today they protect us. Tomorrow they may conquer us. More murmurs. The fear was back, stronger than before. We also contribute in other ways, Hyun-ki continued, keeping his voice level. Human medical technology supplies 40% of Council hospitals. Our agricultural systems feed 12 colony worlds. Our engineers maintain the quantum communication network that connects us all. Our trade supports economies across 20 systems. None of which we need, Vexral said smoothly. We managed before humans arrived. We will manage after they leave. Hyun-ki studied the Krithian counselor. Vexral believed what he was saying. He genuinely thought the Council could simply remove humanity and continue as before. The man had no idea how deeply integrated human systems had become. Or perhaps he did know and did not care. Political power was worth any price. I want to be very clear, Hyun-ki said. If you vote to expel humanity from the Council, there will be consequences. Not because we will punish you, but because systems will fail. Supply chains will break. Security gaps will appear. We are not threatening you. We are warning you. Threats disguised as warnings, Vexral said. This is exactly why humanity must go. They hold our infrastructure hostage to maintain their power. We hold nothing hostage, Hyun-ki replied. We built these systems because you needed them. We maintained them because we believed in this Council. But if you no longer want our help, we will respect that decision. Counselor Thelmar stood, the Orinthi's feathers ruffled with distress. Please, let us not be hasty. Perhaps we could find a compromise. Oversight committees? Joint operations? There must be a way to— The time for compromise has passed, Vexrall interrupted. I call for a vote. Should humanity retain membership in the Galactic Council? The voting began. Hyunki watched the display as the results came in. One by one the votes appeared. Red for expulsion. Green for retention. Red, red, green, red, red, red. The final count appeared. 38 votes for expulsion. 9 votes for retention. Humanity was out. Hyunki felt nothing. No anger, no sadness. Just a cold, clear understanding of what would come next. He had tried to warn them. They had not listened. Now they would learn. The Council has spoken, Vexrall announced, triumph in his voice. Humanity's membership is revoked, effective immediately. Hyunki gathered his documents. He moved slowly, methodically, giving himself time to think. When he was ready, he turned to face the Council one last time. Earth will comply with this decision, he said. We will begin immediate withdrawal from all Council facilities and territories. We will remove our personnel, our equipment, and our systems. The process will take approximately 6 weeks. He paused at the chamber door. One final thing, he said. We protected you not because we needed you, but because we believed in what this Council represented. We believed in cooperation between species, in mutual defense, in building something greater than ourselves. His voice was quiet, but every word carried across the silent chamber. You will understand the difference between need and belief very soon. Good luck, counselors. You are going to need it. He left without looking back. Behind him, the council chamber erupted in noise. Some counselors celebrated. Others looked worried. Thelmar stared at the door where Hyunki had disappeared, fear growing in his chest. Vexrall stood at the center of it all, smiling. He had won. He had removed the human threat. The council was safe. He had no idea what he had just done. The withdrawal began the next morning. Admiral G1 sat in her command center aboard the Earth flagship Horizon, watching data streams flow across multiple screens. Every human facility in council space was reporting in. Every ship, every station, every outpost. The logistics were staggering. We have 43 installations to evacuate, her operations officer reported. 2,700 personnel. 15,000 tons of equipment. 6 weeks is tight, Admiral. Then we do not waste time, G1 replied. Start with the frontier posts. Work our way inward. And remember, we take everything. Every piece of human technology. Every spare part. Every data file. Nothing gets left behind. Everything, Admiral. Everything. The first ships began moving within hours. No protests, no delays, no negotiations. Humans simply packed their belongings and left. On Vestal 3, Yuna supervised the closure of Earth's embassy. She was young for a diplomatic officer, only 28, and this was her first real posting. She had been excited to serve here, to help build bridges between species. Now she was closing doors. The medical equipment in the hospital wing, her assistant said. Governor Kelthas is asking if we can leave it. They say they need it for their patients. Yuna looked at the inventory list. 3 surgical units. 2 diagnostic scanners. 1 molecular analyzer. All human designed. All critical for the station's hospital. Pack it, she said. But the patients are not our responsibility anymore. The council made that clear. Pack everything. Governor Kelthas arrived an hour later. The Vestali administrator looked worried. His blue skin had taken on a grayish tinge that Yuna recognized as stress. Please, he said, just give us a few months. Time to find replacements. Time to train our people. Yuna felt sympathy for him. Kelthas had voted against expelling humanity. But sympathy did not change reality. Governor, these systems are proprietary human designs. Without human engineers, they will fail within 6 months anyway. Better to remove them now than have them break down while patients are using them. Then send engineers. We will pay. Name your price. The council expelled us, Governor. We are leaving. I am sorry, but this is what they chose. Kelthas looked around the embassy. Humans were systematically removing equipment. He noticed something else. The lights were dimmer. The air felt different. The environmental systems, he said slowly. You built those too, did you not? Yes, the water purification plant, the atmosphere regulators, the agricultural domes, all human designed, all being dismantled. But this station cannot function without those systems. Yuna met his eyes. Then I suggest you contact the council quickly. You will need help. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. Dr. Boram shut down the Kepler research station. taking with her 15 years of human scientific data. Captain Day 1 recalled his patrol ships from the frontier zone, leaving a region that had been safe for a decade suddenly undefended. On Station Meridian Prime, the Council's headquarters, Chief Engineer Talvar watched human technicians remove equipment from the power distribution center. "What is that?" he asked, pointing to a complex array of circuits and processors. The human technician glanced at him. "Load balancer. Prevents power surges from cascading through the grid. We need that. Should have thought of that before the vote." The technician carefully disconnected the system and loaded it onto a transport cart. Talvar noticed something that made his scales prickle with unease. The human was not angry, not resentful, just professional, doing a job. That somehow made it worse. "How long until the power grid fails without that?" Talvar asked. The technician shrugged. "Depends on load. Could be weeks. Could be days. You should probably install a replacement soon. Do you have the specifications? So we can build a replacement?" "Proprietary technology. Patent protected. You would need to license it from Earth. But we are the Galactic Council. Surely, you were the Galactic Council when you made that technology partnership agreement 40 years ago. You are the Galactic Council now when you are breaking it. Either way, the patents hold. You want our technology, you negotiate for it. That is how it works." Talvar watched the human walk away, pushing a cart full of equipment the station desperately needed. He pulled out his comm device and started making calls. Someone needed to know about this. In the council chambers, Councillor Vexeral was celebrating. "You see?" he told the assembled representatives. "Humanity leaves without resistance. Their threats were empty. We are stronger without them." Councillor Thelmar was not celebrating. He had been reading reports all morning. Human ships withdrawing from the frontier zone. Human engineers removing systems from council installations. Human medical supplies being recalled from hospitals. "Councillor Vexeral," Thelmar said, "I am concerned about these withdrawals. The humans are taking critical infrastructure with them. Infrastructure we do not need. We built this council before humans arrived. We will build it again. Do you know how much of our medical technology is human designed? How many ships patrol routes they established? How many systems they maintain? Details. Minor inconveniences. We will adapt." Thelmar wanted to argue, but he could see it was pointless. Vexeral had what he wanted. Humanity was leaving. Nothing else mattered to him. 6 weeks passed quickly. The withdrawal was the most organized operation most council species had ever witnessed. No drama, no last-minute negotiations, just systematic, thorough removal of every human presence in council space. Admiral Jiwan stood on the bridge of the horizon as the last transport ship reported in. "All personnel accounted for, Admiral. All equipment recovered. We are ready to depart." "Send final message to council headquarters," she ordered. The communication officer prepared the transmission. Ambassador Hyun-Ki's face appeared on screens across council space. "This is Ambassador Hyun-Ki of Earth, sending final transmission to the Galactic Council. All human personnel have been evacuated from council space. All human facilities have been closed. All human systems have been removed. Earth's withdrawal is complete." He paused, his weathered face calm on the screen. "We came to the council in peace. We leave in peace. We wish you well in your future endeavors. May you find the galaxy you desired. Hyun-Ki out." The transmission ended. The last human ship crossed the border into Earth-controlled space. The council was alone. For the first time in 50 years, there were no human ships patrolling the frontier zone. No human engineers maintaining critical systems. No human doctors in council hospitals. No human diplomats in council chambers. The silence was deafening. 3 months after the humans left, the problems began. Chief Engineer Talvar was working late when the alarm started. Red lights flashed across his console. Power fluctuations in sectors 7 through 12, the kind that should not happen on a modern space station. He ran diagnostics. The readings made his blood run cold. The main power grid was becoming unstable. Surges were cascading through the system, growing stronger with each cycle. In 15 minutes, the entire station could lose power. In 30 minutes, life support could fail. "Emergency protocols," he shouted to his team. "Reroute everything through backup systems now." His crew worked frantically, their claws flying across control panels. The station shuddered. Lights flickered. Somewhere in the distance, Talvar heard the screech of emergency bulkhead sealing. They managed to stabilize the grid with seconds to spare. Talvar collapsed into his chair, scales slick with stress sweat. That had been too close. He pulled up the system logs, tracing the problem back to its source. The power surge had originated in the distribution center, specifically where the human load balancer used to be. The backup systems had worked, but barely. Next time, they might not be so lucky. Talvar drafted a report to the council. They needed to understand the severity of the situation, but as he wrote, he realized something troubling. This was not the only system the humans had maintained. How many other failures were waiting to happen? On Orinthi Prime, Medical Director Sharon faced a different crisis. The surgical unit in Operating Room 3 had stopped working mid-procedure. The patient, a Vestali merchant, had survived, but barely. The backup equipment was outdated and difficult to use. "How many of these human machines do we have?" she asked her staff. Her assistant checked the inventory. 14 major systems. Surgical units, diagnostic scanners, molecular analyzers, all human manufactured. And how many have failed? 3 in the past month. We tried to repair them, but we do not have the specifications. The human designs are too advanced. Our engineers cannot figure them out. Sharon felt her feathers flatten against her body, a sign of deep worry among her species. "Can we order replacements?" "From Earth, we tried. They say we need to negotiate a new trade agreement first. The old agreements were voided when we expelled them from the council. How long will negotiations take? Months, maybe years. And the prices Earth is quoting are much higher than before." Sharon looked at the list of equipment. Critical systems, all of them. Without replacements, patients would die. She sent an urgent message to the Council Medical Committee. They needed to act fast. In the frontier zone, Merchant Captain Vindar was learning a harsh lesson about security. His convoy of 6 ships was making a routine supply run when the pirates attacked. They came fast, 3 raider ships dropping out of hyperspace directly in the convoy's path. In the old days, this would not have happened. Human patrol ships monitored these routes constantly. Pirates knew better than to attack. But there were no human patrols anymore. All ships emergency scatter. Vindar shouted into his comm. "Jump to hyperspace, random vectors." His convoy tried to flee, but the pirates were experienced. They had done this before. 2 of Vindar's ships did not make it. Their cargo holds were breached, their crews taken hostage. The raiders disappeared into hyperspace before Council security could respond. Vindar made it to safety with 4 ships. He immediately filed a report with Council authorities. The response was not encouraging. "We have increased patrols in the frontier zone," the security officer told him. "But we simply do not have enough ships to cover all the trade routes. We are doing our best." "Your best is not good enough," Vindar snapped. "When the humans were here, these routes were safe. Now pirates attack in broad daylight. The humans had more ships and better training. In decades of experience in this sector, we are working to match their capabilities, but it takes time. Time that merchants like Vindar did not have. Insurance rates for frontier zone shipping had already tripled. If this continued, trade through the region would collapse completely. Back at Council headquarters, the reports were piling up. Power failures, equipment breakdowns, pirate attacks, communication delays, supply shortages. Every day brought new problems. Councillor Thelmar read through them with growing alarm. He had tried to warn his colleagues about this. They had not listened. Now the consequences were becoming impossible to ignore. He called for an emergency council session. When the representatives gathered, the mood was tense. "We need to discuss the situation," Thelmar began. "In the 3 months since humanity's departure, we have experienced significant disruptions across multiple sectors. Infrastructure failures, medical equipment breakdowns, security gaps. The human departure has had serious consequences." Councillor Vexrel waved a dismissive hand. "Temporary adjustments. Growing pains. We knew there would be a transition period." "This is more than a transition period," Thelmar countered. "Station Meridian Prime nearly lost power last week. We have lost patients in our hospitals. Pirates are raiding with impunity. These are not small problems, and then we fix them. We hire new engineers. We buy new equipment. We increase security patrols. The council is strong. We do not need humans to solve our problems." "With what money?" another councillor asked. "Trade revenues are down 40% because of the security situation. Our economy is contracting. We cannot afford to replace everything the humans provided. And even if we could afford it," Thelmar added, "we do not have the technical specifications. The humans took their proprietary designs with them. We would need to develop everything from scratch. Then we develop it, Vexrel insisted. We are not helpless children. We built this council centuries ago. We can build it again. That will take decades, Thelmar said quietly. And we may not have decades. Some frontier worlds are already requesting permission to negotiate independent agreements with Earth. If this continues, the council itself may fracture. The chamber fell silent. That was a possibility no one wanted to consider. Perhaps one of the smaller delegates suggested hesitantly, we could reach out to Earth, ask them to reconsider, offer them council membership again. No, Vexrel said firmly. We voted to expel them. We cannot simply reverse that decision 3 months later. It would make us look weak, indecisive. Other species would lose respect for the council. We already look weak, Thelmar said. Our infrastructure is failing. Our security is compromised. Our economy is shrinking. How much weaker can we get? Vexrel stood, his scales flushing with anger. This council will not go begging to humanity. We made our decision. We stand by it. These problems are temporary. We will overcome them. Meeting adjourned, he left the chamber. Many counselors followed him, though Thelmar noticed that fewer supported Vexrel than before. After the session, Thelmar returned to his office and composed a message. Not to the council. To Earth. Unofficial. Personal. Just to test the waters. The response came 3 days later, brief and professional. The council made its decision. Earth respects that decision. We wish you well in your future endeavors. No anger. No bitterness. Just a polite, formal refusal. Somehow that made it worse. Thelmar looked out his window at the stars beyond. Somewhere out there, humanity was moving on with their lives, building their own future, and the council was slowly falling apart without them. 6 months after humanity's departure, everything fell apart at once. Admiral Kravos commanded the council's military fleet. He was a decorated officer, experienced in combat, respected by his crews, but he had never faced anything like this. Admiral, we have multiple contacts, his sensor officer reported. 15 ships, raider configuration, approaching the main shipping lanes. 15 ships. That was not a raid. That was a fleet. All ships battle formation, Kravos ordered. This is what we trained for. Except they had not trained for this. Not really. For decades, the Council's military had worked alongside human forces. Humans handled the difficult operations. Humans provided the tactical coordination. Humans trained Council officers in modern combat techniques. Now the humans were gone, and the pirates knew it. The battle was brutal and short. The pirates used tactics that Council forces were unprepared for. They split into small groups, attacked from multiple angles, targeted the weakest ships. Kravos tried to coordinate his fleet, but his ships were not used to operating independently. They kept waiting for orders that came too slowly. When the fighting ended, Kravos had lost 4 ships. The pirates had lost none. They captured 2 merchant vessels and disappeared into hyperspace before reinforcements could arrive. The admiral sat in his command chair, staring at the damage reports. 4 ships destroyed, over 300 crew members dead, and the pirates had escaped. This would not have happened if the humans were here, his tactical officer said quietly. Kravos did not respond. There was nothing to say. It was true. The same day on the farming world of Vestara, Governor Lisseth watched her crops die. The climate control system was failing. Temperature fluctuations, irregular rainfall patterns, soil nutrients becoming imbalanced. The plants were withering in the fields. How bad is it? She asked her agricultural minister. We will lose 70% of this season's harvest, maybe more. The systems are too complex for us to repair. The humans designed them. Only humans truly understand them. 70%? Lisseth felt her hope sink. We export food to 12 other worlds. If we lose that harvest, those worlds will starve. I know, and it is not just us. I have been talking to other agricultural colonies. They are experiencing similar failures. The human technology is breaking down everywhere. Lisseth walked through the dying fields, touching the brown leaves. Her people had been farmers for centuries. But traditional farming could not feed the billions who depended on these advanced systems. Without the human technology, famine was inevitable. She sent an emergency message to the council. Food crisis imminent. Request immediate assistance. Require human agricultural technology or viable alternatives. Situation critical. On Meridian Prime, the problems were multiplying faster than anyone could count. The quantum communication network was degrading. Messages took hours instead of seconds. Sometimes they did not arrive at all. Engineer Talvar was working 18-hour shifts trying to keep basic systems operational. Power, water, air. Everything required constant attention. His team was exhausted. "We need help," his assistant said. "We cannot keep doing this. We do not have the training. We do not have the equipment. We need the humans." "The humans are not coming," Talvar replied. "We expelled them. Why would they help us?" He was running a diagnostic on the water purification system when he found something in the old maintenance logs, records from 15 years ago, a major system upgrade that prevented contamination problems. The upgrade was attributed to the Council's engineering department, but when Talvar dug deeper, he found the truth. The upgrade had been designed by human engineers, implemented by human technicians. The Council had simply taken credit for it. He checked other systems. The power grid improvements from 12 years ago. Human work. The atmospheric regulation enhancements from 8 years ago. Human work. The structural reinforcements from 5 years ago. Human work. Everything. For decades, humans had been quietly upgrading, improving, fixing Council systems, and the Council had never acknowledged it, had never even realized how much they depended on human expertise. Talvar felt sick. They had expelled the very people who kept their civilization running. In the Council chambers, the emergency session was chaotic. Reports flooded in from across Council space. Military defeats, food shortages, infrastructure failures, communication breakdowns. The cascade of problems was overwhelming. Councillor Thelmar stood before the assembly. "We cannot continue like this. In 6 months, we have lost more than we built in the previous 10 years. Our economy is in recession. Our security is compromised. Our infrastructure is collapsing. We need to face reality." "What reality?" Vexrel demanded. "That we made a mistake? That we need the humans? I will not accept that." "Then you are a fool," Thelmar said bluntly. "The evidence is overwhelming. Without human support, our civilization is failing. Not slowly, rapidly. If we do not act soon, worlds will die. Billions of people will suffer. We can fix this ourselves," Vexrel insisted. "We just need time." "How much time?" another counselor asked. "Years, decades? How many people will die while we learn what the humans already knew?" "The humans wanted this," Vexrel said. "They wanted us to be dependent on them. This is their revenge for being expelled." "Is it?" Thelmar pulled up records on the main display. "Look at this. Communications from Earth over the past 6 months. 23 requests for help from various Council worlds. Every single one answered. Earth has provided emergency medical supplies to Arinthi Prime, technical specifications to 3 colony worlds, even security consultation to the Frontier Defense Fleet." He switched to another screen. "And look at the prices. Fair market rates. Not inflated. Not punitive. Exactly what they charged before we expelled them. The humans are not taking revenge. They are simply treating us like any other customer. No special favors, no preferential treatment, just business." The chamber was silent. Counselors looked at each other, realizing what they had lost. The humans had not been partners just for trade or security. They had been partners who gave more than they took, who fixed problems without asking for credit, who protected others without demanding gratitude, and the Council had thrown them away. "I propose a vote," Thelmar said. "We formally request Earth's assistance, not as Council members. We already rejected them, but as a partner species. Independent but cooperative. We negotiate a new relationship, one based on mutual respect and fair compensation." "They will refuse," Vexrel predicted. "They will want us to beg. To admit we were wrong." "Then we beg," Thelmar said quietly. "And we admit we were wrong, because it is the truth. We made a terrible mistake. The question is whether we are too proud to fix it." The vote was called. This time the result was different. 35 votes in favor of contacting Earth, 12 opposed. Vexrel sat in his seat watching his political power crumble. "Prepare a message to Earth," Thelmar ordered. "Make it clear this is not about rejoining the Council. This is about asking for help. As equals, as partners, as friends if they are willing to forgive us." The message was sent. All they could do now was wait and hope that humanity would answer. The response from Earth came 3 days later. It was not what anyone expected. President Minho appeared on screens across council space. He was a middle-aged man with kind eyes and a diplomatic manner, but there was steel beneath the kindness. Members of the Galactic Council, he began. We have received your request for assistance. Earth has considered your situation carefully. We understand the difficulties you are facing. We remember what it was like to struggle with complex systems and dangerous threats. Councillor Thelmar leaned forward in his seat, hope rising in his chest. However, Minho continued, we must be clear about the nature of any future relationship. Earth will not be rejoining the Galactic Council. That chapter of our history is closed. You voted to expel us. We respected that decision. We continue to respect it. The council chamber filled with worried murmurs. But, Minho said, we are willing to provide humanitarian assistance. Medical supplies for your hospitals. Emergency food shipments for worlds facing famine. Temporary security support for your trade routes. We will help because it is the right thing to do. Not because we owe you anything. Not because you are council members, but because people are suffering, and we have the means to help. He paused, letting that sink in. This assistance will come with conditions, not political conditions. We do not want power over you, but practical conditions. You will pay fair market rates for goods and services. You will acknowledge human intellectual property rights. You will understand that we are helping you as a favor, not as an obligation. We do not owe you our technology. We do not owe you our protection. If you want our help, you ask for it respectfully and you compensate us fairly. Vexrel stood up angrily. This is extortion. They are taking advantage of our crisis. Thelmar silenced him with a gesture. President Minho, we accept your terms. When can your assistance arrive? Supply ships will reach your space within the week, Minho replied. A security task force will begin patrols in the frontier zone immediately. And I am sending Ambassador Hyun-Ki to Meridian Prime as a special consultant. He will assess your infrastructure needs and coordinate our assistance efforts. Ambassador Hyun-Ki, the man they had humiliated, the man who had warned them. He was coming back. Hyun-Ki arrived on Meridian Prime 2 days later. He came alone, wearing civilian clothes, carrying a simple briefcase. No honor guard, no ceremony, just a private citizen offering his expertise. Thelmar met him at the docking bay personally. The Arinthi diplomat felt shame wash over him as he approached the human. Ambassador Hyun-Ki, he said quietly, thank you for coming. I know this cannot be easy for you. Hyun-Ki gave him a small smile. I'm not an ambassador anymore, counselor. Just a consultant. And you are right, this is not easy. But people are suffering. That matters more than my pride. They walked through the station together. Hyun-Ki noticed the dim lighting, the stale air, the stressed faces of the maintenance crews. The station was barely holding together. How bad is it? He asked. Worse than we told Earth, Thelmar admitted. We have infrastructure failures on 17 colony worlds. Food shortages on 8 more. Pirate attacks have increased by 300%. Our economy has contracted by 42%. If this continues another 6 months, the council may collapse completely. Hyun-Ki nodded slowly. I warned you this would happen. I know. I voted to keep you. But I was outvoted. Yes, you were. But you are also the one who had the courage to admit the mistake and ask for help. That takes strength, counselor. They reached Thelmar's office. Inside, Vexrel was waiting. The Crithian scales had lost their luster. He looked older, defeated. Ambassador, Vexrel said stiffly. Former ambassador. Hyun-Ki corrected gently. I am just a consultant now. Vexrel's eyes flashed with anger. You must be enjoying this. Seeing us suffer, watching us beg for your help. Hyun-Ki sat down, his expression calm. No, counselor. I take no pleasure in your suffering. I take no pleasure in being right. I am here because people need help. That is all. You abandoned us, Vexrel accused. You left knowing what would happen. You could have helped us transition. Instead, you took everything and disappeared. Hyun-Ki pulled out a datapad from his briefcase. This is a report I prepared before the expulsion vote. It details every human system in council space, every dependency, every critical function. It includes transition plans for each system, timelines for training council personnel, and offers of continued support during the transition period. He handed the pad to Thelmar. I submitted this report to the council leadership 3 weeks before the vote. It was classified as human propaganda and suppressed. Thelmar scrolled through the document, page after page of warnings, detailed analysis, practical solutions. All ignored. Who suppressed it? He asked quietly. Hyun-Ki looked at Vexerel. You want to tell him, counselor? Or should I? Vexerel's scales flushed dark. It was a strategic decision. We could not show weakness, could not appear dependent on humans. So you hid the truth, Thelmar said, his voice hard. You knew the consequences. You knew people would suffer, and you suppressed the information to win a political victory. Vexerel had no answer. Hyun-Ki stood. Counselor Vexerel, I do not hate you. I actually pity you. You were so afraid of humanity's strength that you destroyed something good, something that benefited everyone. And now you have to live with that. He turned to Thelmar. Earth's assistance is already on the way. Medical supplies, food shipments, security forces. But I need to be very clear about something. We are not going to fix everything for you. We will help you stabilize. We will help you survive. But you need to learn to stand on your own. What do you mean? Thelmar asked. I mean, we will not just maintain your systems for you anymore. We will teach your engineers how to do it themselves. We will not just patrol your space. We will train your security forces to do it properly. We will not give you technology. We will license it to you and show you how to use it. You wanted independence from humanity. You are going to get it. Real independence. Not the comfortable dependence you had before. Thelmar absorbed this. It would be harder, more expensive, take longer, but it was the right path. And what does Earth want in return? He asked. Fair compensation. Respect for our intellectual property. And honesty. No more political games. No more taking credit for our work. If we help you, you acknowledge it. If you use our technology, you pay for it. If you want our expertise, you ask for it respectfully. That is all we ask. That seems reasonable, Thelmar said. It is more than reasonable, Hyun-Ki replied. It is what you should have been doing all along. Partnership means mutual respect, mutual benefit, not one side giving while the other takes and complains about it. He packed his briefcase. I will be staying on the station for a few weeks coordinating the initial assistance. After that, Earth will send specialists as needed. But remember, we are not rejoining the council. We are not your members. We are your partners. There is a difference. Thelmar walked him to the door. Consultant Hyun-Ki, I am sorry. For what we did. For what I allowed to happen. Hyun-Ki paused. I know you are, counselor. And that matters. But apologies only mean something if you learn from your mistakes. Show me that the council has learned. Show me that this will never happen again. That is the apology I want to see. He left, leaving Thelmar and Vexerel alone in the office. The future of the council hung in the balance. Earth's help would buy them time. But time to do what? To rebuild as they were? Or to become something better? That choice was theirs to make. 1 year after the expulsion vote, the galaxy looked very different. Ambassador Yuna walked through the halls of Meridian Prime Station. The lights were brighter now. The air was cleaner. The maintenance crews looked less stressed. Things were improving. She was Earth's new representative to the council. Not a council member. A liaison. A bridge between two independent governments that had learned to work together the hard way. In the engineering section, Talvar was training a new crew on power distribution systems. Human instructors had spent 6 months teaching them. Now Talvar was teaching others. Knowledge spreading, capability growing. The key is redundancy, he explained to his students. Always have backup systems. Always plan for failure. That is what the humans understood that we did not. One of his students, a young Vestali, raised her hand. Why did we not learn this before? Why did humans do all the work? Talvar considered the question carefully. Because we let them. They offered to help and we accepted. Then we got comfortable. We stopped learning. We stopped trying. We assumed the humans would always be there to fix our problems. But they are still helping us, another student said. Yes. But differently, they are teaching us instead of doing everything for us. It is harder, but it is better. When they leave this time, we will be able to maintain our own systems. In the frontier zone, Captain Daewon commanded a joint patrol, half human ships, half council ships, working together. Contact bearing 275, his sensor officer reported. 3 ships, Raider configuration. Council Squadron, you have tactical lead. Daewon transmitted to Admiral Kravos's ship. Show us what you learned. The Council ships moved into formation. Better than before, smoother, more confident. Kravos had spent months training with human officers, learning modern combat tactics. Now he had a chance to prove it. The pirates attacked. This time they were met with coordinated fire, strategic positioning, and professional execution. The raiders broke off quickly, fleeing before they suffered serious losses. No Council ships were lost. No cargo taken. A clean victory. Well done, Admiral, Daewon transmitted. You have come a long way. Kravos felt pride warm his chest. We had good teachers. You did. But you did the hard work yourselves. That is what matters. On Vistara, Governor Lisseth walked through green fields. The crops were growing again. Not with human systems this time. With hybrid technology, part human design, part council engineering, adapted to local needs by local scientists who had learned from human experts. It had taken 8 months. It had been expensive. But now they understood how it worked. They could maintain it themselves. They could even improve it. Will the harvest be enough? Her aide asked. More than enough, Lisseth replied. We will be able to export again next season. The famine is over. She looked up at the sky where she knew Earth's sun burned somewhere in the distance. We should never have sent them away, she said softly. But would we have learned these lessons if we had not? Her aide asked. It was a good question. Lisseth had no answer. In the council chambers, Councillor Thelmar called the assembly to order. The room was different now. Several councillors had been replaced after the crisis. Fexrel was gone, living in quiet retirement on his homeworld. New voices spoke with more humility. Today we vote on the Earth Partnership Treaty, Thelmar announced. This treaty establishes formal cooperation between the Galactic Council and Earth, not membership, partnership, independent governments working together for mutual benefit. He brought up the treaty, terms on the main display, fair trade agreements, technology licensing, joint security operations, cultural exchange programs. Everything equal. Everything negotiated. Nothing taken for granted. This treaty acknowledges that Earth has its own interests, its own allies, its own path forward. We are not asking them to serve us. We are asking to work with them as equals, as partners, as friends if we earn that privilege. The vote was unanimous. 47 species in favor. 0 opposed. Ambassador Yuna watched from the observation gallery. A year ago, she had been closing Earth's embassy, watching everything her people had built being dismantled. Now she was witnessing something new being built, something better. After the session, Thelmar found her in the corridor. Ambassador Yuna, will Earth accept this treaty? President Minho has already reviewed it, she replied. Earth will sign. We are ready to move forward. Thank you, Thelmar said quietly. I know we do not deserve this. After what we did, Yuna smiled. Counselor, you have spent a year rebuilding, learning, changing. You admitted your mistakes. You did the hard work to fix them. That deserves respect. But do you forgive us? Do your people forgive us for expelling you? She considered this. I think we understand now that it needed to happen. Not the way it happened, not the reasons, but the result. Before, the council depended on us too much. You took us for granted. We let you. It was comfortable, but it was not healthy. And now we are both stronger. You learned to stand on your own. We learned that helping others does not mean doing everything for them. We both grew from this. Painfully, but we grew. Thelmar's feathers ruffled in agreement. I hope this new partnership lasts longer than the old one. It will, Yuna said with confidence, because it is built on honesty, on mutual respect, on both sides giving and taking equally. That is what real partnership looks like. 3 days later, the treaty signing ceremony took place. It was simple, professional, no grand speeches, just 2 civilizations acknowledging their commitment to work together. President Minho signed for Earth. Councillor Thelmar signed for the Council. The document was sealed. A new chapter began. Afterward, Yuna stood at an observation window looking out at the stars. She thought about Ambassador Hyunki, who had started this journey. He was retired now, living quietly on Earth, but his lessons remained. She thought about what he had said a year ago, standing in these same chambers as the Council voted against humanity. His final words echoed in her memory. We protected you not because we needed you, but because we believed in what this council represented. Humanity had believed in cooperation, in helping others, in building something greater than themselves. The council had rejected that belief, had rejected humanity. But belief was not something that could be given or taken away by a vote. It was something you lived, something you demonstrated through actions, not words. Humanity had left quietly, had respected the council's decision even while disagreeing with it, had offered help when asked, without demanding apologies or tributes, had taught rather than simply providing, had built a partnership based on equality rather than superiority. That was the human way, not through conquest, not through domination, but through example. Counselor Thelmar joined her at the window. They stood together in comfortable silence, watching ships move through the darkness of space. Human ships, council ships, moving together, working together. What are you thinking? He asked. Yuna smiled. I am thinking that Ambassador Hyunki was right about everything. We came seeking community and found rejection. We left with dignity. We returned not to save you, but to stand with you. She turned to face him, and now we stand together, not as members and leaders, but as partners, as equals. That is how it should have been from the start. Yes, Thelmar agreed. That is how it should have been. Out in the void, a human freighter passed a council transport. They exchanged standard greetings, professional, friendly, equal. The galaxy had changed. The council had changed. And humanity, by refusing to change who they were, had changed everything. Sometimes the greatest strength is knowing when to walk away. And the greatest wisdom is knowing how to return. The humans had silently retreated, leaving the council to face its own deeds, and in doing so, they had taught a lesson that would echo through the galaxy for generations to come. True power is not in domination. It is in dignity, in knowing your worth, in helping others without losing yourself, in building something better, even when it means starting over. That was humanity's gift to the galaxy. Not technology, not protection, but an example of what civilizations could become when they led with principles instead of power. And the galaxy was better for it.